Here's a look at the vehicle before we started work on it. So as you can see, the truck looks decent here, but it is 20 something years old. The paint is sort of dull and faded and just not as shiny and brilliant and deep as it could be. So my job is to work on that and make this thing look amazing. Let's see how it turns out. I'll finish up these before pics so you can get a good idea of what the truck looked like before we started working on it. And then I'll show you the finished results. I think you'll be impressed. In these clips here, you can see some light swirls. So if you look at the two light spots and you look around the reflection area, you can sort of see a very light swirling effect in those areas. And a couple light scratches like you see in this clip here. It is a 20 something year old truck, so it's gonna have, even though this truck was well taken care of, it's gonna have some little love marks like this around it. Again, if you look at the two lights and the reflection around them, you can clearly see the swirls here. Here again, you can also see the swirls by looking close at the light reflection. Again, here in the reflections, more defects and love marks after 20 years of ownership. What I'm doing here is trying to show that although the paint looks decent from farther away, when you look up close, it definitely has some defects, swirls, love marks, marring, oxidation, dullness, and other defects like that polishing and buffing can remove to make the paint look new again. Here you can see me pointing out a really light scratch in the hood. Now we're going to begin the prepping process by clay barring first. So as you see here, I'm spraying a lubricant for the clay so we can glide it safely across the paint without damaging the paint further. Basic detailing clay, as you see here. I'm just gently gliding the clay across the clear coat or surface of the vehicle here, and you can sort of hear it, but what it's doing is removing bonded contamination that's embedded itself into the clear coat. And you can wash the vehicle over and over as much as you want, but you cannot remove bonded contamination that's embedded into the clear coat by washing alone. You have to do a clay bar like this. So after you clay bar it, the surface is super smooth like glass, which means dust, dirt, and other contamination and things like that. It has a harder time sticking to the surface and tends to roll off easier, especially after polishing the paint to make it really super smooth and then applying a sealant, wax, or ceramic coating, which makes the surface super slick. So if you see there, the clay bar is turning a different darker color, and that's the bonded contamination that the clay bar is picking up that you're seeing on the clay surface there. So here I'll go ahead and re-wet. What I have is a rinseless wash solution in there that I'm spraying on there, so sort of a soap, and it gives the clay good lubrication, so it doesn't damage the surface when I run the clay over it. Although I'm not doing it here, you can also use clay bars to remove mineral deposits and water spots from glass. So here, on either side of those yellow lines, I've polished the surface. In the middle section between the two yellow lines has not been polished. So what you can see is you can compare them close up to see what the finished polished side looks like compared to the untouched side. And it's really quite a huge contrast. And this is only after polishing. Once the wax, sealant, or ceramic coating has been applied on top of the polished surface, it really stands out as being a huge difference from an untouched surface that's 20 something years old. You can see the gloss is already starting to stand out here. There's my baby granddaughter hanging out with Pop-Pop. That's an inspection light I'm holding there. It's a really bright light, but it also has a certain color temperature to it to mimic sunlight, so you can get the best look at the surface that unnatural lighting can't give you. Let's get to polishing here. So first, like now, you see me spreading out the polish on the surface. To do this section, I'm going to be working. You'll see me working the polisher up and down and side to side on this one section in the same pattern, so I can evenly polish this section I'm working here, and I'll continue to move around the vehicle using the same crosshatch pattern. After polishing, I like to do, there's a little bit of trick photography here to sort of show the customers the results I'm getting. So you can see it's really showing off the mirrored effect that polishing a vehicle will give you. These are my two granddaughters, by the way. Sissy and Bugga, that's their nicknames. Here we have the driver's side completely polished now. Again, there's no finish on here, wax or sealant. So now we've jumped way ahead in the process. We've completed the polish, and I've applied a sealant, a paste sealant actually, which is like a wax, but in my opinion it's a little bit better. But we've covered the whole truck in the sealant, which is right here. This is a very high quality product, high gloss, and great protection. Here's the hood after I've wiped off the sealant. As you can see, it's really amazing how good this sealant I use looks. Look at that mirrored effect. I really love this product. And now, let's look at the final product.